Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome to the channel. After a few months of doing POV photography videos, I've decided to evolve the series a bit and make a few changes to how I make videos. At first, doing these videos felt a bit fulfilling as I could show people what I do at my photo shoots, but I got into the point where I wasn't really enjoying the part where I have to be entertaining, do the commentary, and it wasn't fun anymore. I'm a very single task orientated person. I just want to shoot, take a few photos and be done with it. Adding another layer of commentary was exhausting to me. Also, some writers like to talk and banter with me while I'm doing the shoot, so I can't really tell them to be quiet because it does seem kind of rude just for me to make content. Another thing, taking B-roll to do 15 seconds for the intros and trying to find non-copyrighted music was also kind of tiring. Overall, it was just a time suck, and for me, I didn't have much time because I have a full-time job and editing already takes a lot of time as it is. Doing a video on top of that eats up even more time. After releasing the Lightroom editing video, I've decided to combine both POV photography and editing into one video. Instead of posting the whole POV shoot, I think I may just show one or two images I like, then do a Lightroom session with it. Hopefully it works out and you learn something out of it. I also bought a new Rode Wireless Go that is universal with all my devices, so hopefully that brings another dimension to these videos. With that said, let's get on with the rest of the video. What we have here is a Ducati Panigale 899 with a blue custom paint job. Everyone here has dubbed it the Bluecati because of its unique paint job. This isn't the first time I photographed it. I photographed it a few years ago with a different owner. Another fun fact is that when I did post this Bluecati on Instagram, somebody called it fake because it was blue. The photo I chose to edit on this video is this really underexposed rear shot. I really wanted to expose for the sky, so I shot underexposed, but I really shot it underexposed where you cannot see any details. Since my Sony a7R III has great dynamic range, I was confident that I could recover the image. Like my first Lightroom editing video, I'm doing this unscripted and we'll see how it will turn out. Lens and photo settings will be on the screen or in the description below. Okay, here we are in Adobe Lightroom. And as you can see, the image is really underexposed. So normally you don't want to do this, but sometimes you see something and you may want to edit it and try to make it better, even though it doesn't look recoverable. Sometimes you can recover it. So first thing we're going to do is up the shadows. Bring up to 80. Does it look good? I think it looks okay. Bring it to all the way to 100%. Plus 100, not 100%. And as you can see, it got better. You actually can see the bike now. So next thing I want to do is I want to fix the horizon a little bit. It's kind of leaning a little bit to the left. So let's go ahead and go to the crop overlay. And let's try to make it straight. I think this is about right. So let's get rid of these debris that's on the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to this tool right here, the spot removal tool, and just get rid of some of these little dirt specks. And then let's hit done. Okay, so we got rid of all the distractions on the ground and now it looks much cleaner. I want to make this blue a little bit more brighter. Let's go to the luminance here and blue, let's kind of bring it up a little bit. So I want to even make it a little bit more brighter. So we'll work off the highlights of this bike. So we'll go to the adjustment brush here and bring the exposure up a little bit, maybe around 1.4, and let's go ahead and paint and see if there's any difference. Looks a little bit better. So I'll hit done and let's do another adjustment, but this time we'll go down here and bring out some of the panels here. I want to keep it separate because I want to have the highlights be a little bit brighter. Yeah, see, that's a little too much, I think. So we'll just leave it here. So we have two separate points that we can work off from. Next thing I want to work on is the sharpening. So let's go ahead and sample from a area where it's kind of dark, or actually the edge. So let's go ahead and just bring up the sharpness, and then let's mask it down so not all the noise get sharp. And bring down the radius and the detail so we have the edges much more sharper than the darker areas. And then let's go to the noise reduction. Let's bring it up a little bit to like 20. And let's look at our overall image. And I think that looks good. I forgot to do the chromatic aberration. Over here, this edge, you can kind of see a little bit of orange, but that's all right. Yeah, so it's not too bad. Well, we'll just click it anyway. And then if we enable the profile corrections, it will correct the distortion. I kind of like it like this because of the vignetting that's going on, but we can always add that in later and we'll make the proportions a little bit more correct. Since there's a bright point over here, this is where the sunset was, I'm gonna kind of bring it up a little. So I'm gonna do the radial filter tool right here, and we're gonna just draw a little oval here. As you can see, it brightened up the scene and darkened it over here. We don't want that, so we're just gonna do an invert and do it that way. So right there, it's a bit bright. I don't want it that bright, so we'll bring it down, bring the exposure down, bring the highlights down a little bit, and we'll go to the temperature and kind of warm it up a little bit. It's too much right there. Bring up the shadows just to give it a little flare, and the blacks to give it a little bit more flare right there. Yeah, it's not too much. I'll just constantly adjust it. I'll go to the feather and hit done. I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna add one more just to kind of have it fall off a little bit. All right, so next up is I want to mess with the curves. So let's go to the curves panel, and let's kind of darken it up. I kind of want to have the area back here or here highlighted a little bit, but I want this area right here where the edges to be a bit darker. So I'm just gonna mess with that part over there. Okay, I want to bring out this a little bit more, so I'm just going to go back to the adjustment brush, and I'm just going to highlight right there, and on the other side highlight here a little bit, because I want the shadow of the bike to kind of draw to the bike itself. So I hit done right there. I think I like that. Hit the adjustment brush again, and then we'll bring down the exposure. We'll bring the shadows out from the actual shadow of the bike. So actually that looks good. What I want to do next is I kind of want to play around with the calibration of the image. So let's go down here to the blue primary and let's see what happens. It doesn't really do much. Let me play around there a bit. Yeah, it doesn't really do much, but it's okay. And let's miss. I kind of want to make the sunset a little bit more of a reddish color. That is not what I'm looking for. Actually, right here, yeah, around here. That's good. And then I'll bring up the clarity, pop those out a little bit. That's cool. And let's bring the warmness up a little bit more. And then the vibrance. Okay, now it's getting a little too intense. So let's go back into the radial tool. Probably bring it down a little bit. So I'll bring down the blacks. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Now I'm just going to do little adjustments that I see that I need to do. And I think that's good. So let's do a side by side. Let's go do top and bottom. So this was before and after. Actually, let us do side by side. And right there, as you can see, total difference. We recovered the image perfectly. Well, as perfect as we can anyways. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you learned something, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.